Now the polls have closed in Burundi's election, a campaign marred by violence. In the last hour, there have been a number of grenade attacks in the capital, Bujumbura. Turnout has been low and there has been just the one candidate, the current president. The other 6 candidates pulled out because of what they called intimidation and rigging. Well, let's take a look at the part of Africa that we are talking about. Burundi is one of the smallest countries on the continent. It shares a bloody history with Rwanda based on rivalries between 2 main ethnic groups. Since the 1990s, it's been racked by civil war between Hutu rebels and a Tutsi-dominated army, which has killed more than 250,000 people. Back in 2001, Nelson Mandela managed to broker a power-sharing deal, but main Hutu rebel groups rejected the ceasefire agreement. Peace efforts have been continuing, resulting in Pierre Nkurunziza, who's a Hutu, winning the 2005 elections. Now elections are being held again, but the underlying tensions mean he's the only one who's still contesting. So, Ayo, as Malcolm was saying, it's very difficult to know who's carrying out the violence, but presumably they do have to be supporters of some of those candidates who decided, for their own reasons, not to stand in this election.
Absolutely. One of those victims would be Mr. Roboso, who's clearly meant to be a credible challenger to the president himself. And clearly he's gone into hiding, can't be seen. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's instigating his followers to cause some of these problems that we're hearing on the ground, clearly. And it's not in keeping with good practice, I would have thought.
Does he and the other candidates who didn't stand, do they have a right to be scared for their safety?
Well, to an extent. Clearly, they've wanted to join the political process. They claim that the last election that happened last month was marred with inconsistencies. The problem they have is that the European Union, who were the observers on the ground, clearly endorsed that election and said it met international standards. It then puts a lot of pressure on them because their claims can't be substantiated. But it also means that when you have John Ping, who's head of the African Union, making claims that the government currently has to conform and ensure that we have elections which are fair and deemed to be in good practice, it puts pressure all around, and it's very, very difficult to see how they can come back to the table, especially when the president has gone it alone, to see, and more than likely now he's going to become the president. It's a foregone conclusion.
It's not an election, isn't it? Because there are no other candidates. There's just the one name on the ballot paper. He's going to get in, never mind how many people vote. Why do you think the EU observers did endorse the original election that was claimed to be rigged? I mean, is it possible that the opposition candidates have got it wrong, and in fact that they felt they were going to lose, and that's why they claimed there was vote rigging?
Well, we shouldn't forget that we've had ethnic tensions in this country for some time, combined with the fact that the democracy is very young, and a lot of people don't seem to have a lot of patience. They want things to happen instantly. And I think the rebels who signed an agreement only in 2005, which was supported by the South Africans, clearly are quite not happy with the fact that, yet again, they're not going to be in power and they do not have a shot at that because the local elections were won by the ruling party by a mile. And for that reason, there's a lot of animosity there. But it wouldn't surprise me for us to see added violence and inconsistencies in how it all pans out. I think it's very important that as we move forward, that those parties that didn't take part in these elections do 2 things. Firstly, they either have to accept elections for what they clearly are, which is going to be very unlikely. The regional group, which comprises of local countries around Burundi, have made it very clear that they may not support the elections if it's marred by violence. And so there are some real problems moving forward.
We pointed out in our introduction earlier, Burundi, very small country.
Yeah.
But what is its importance to, say, the neighbouring countries in that region, and what impact does this election have on them?
Well, there's a very important thing that's happening currently. They're trying to adopt something similar to what we've got in the European Union, where they can have freedom of movement of goods and services and have a common system operating. And it would be very, very difficult for that to work fully, especially as it's about to be implemented right now, for a member who's Burundi, who's part of that quartet, with all the rest of the other countries to be in problems and having strife, as we're currently seeing. So we need stability in that part of the world, stability in that region, and for the other countries to benefit from this new common system which is being implemented, they need Burundi to start behaving properly.
OK, we'll be keeping our eyes on events in Burundi, but for the moment, Ayo Johnson, thanks very much indeed. Well, in West Africa, the people of Guinea are awaiting results in presidential elections held on Sunday. There were 24 candidates in the country's first free vote since independence back in 1958. International observers say the polls went smoothly. Guinea has vast mineral resources, yet its economy is in ruins. Well, as the world's biggest global rice exporter, Thailand could be called the planet's rice basket, providing sustenance to millions across the world.